the issue with the Epic Game Store.
It's cringe and bad. All right, that's all.
Like a quick summary.
No, I have thoughts about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
I
before
think
that, like,
the application. So I've always disliked the application. I think the application. Back when I was using it, right? This was vaguely when what's that? One of the like Souls-like games came out, and it was exclusive to Epic, and I was like, oh, fine, I'll get on Epic. It was like sort of laggy, and like the launcher wasn't great. Like compared to Steam or even GOG, it was sort of problematic in that sense. I don't know if it's still that way. I don't think so, but it's probably fine now. But my real issue with Epic's Game Store is the way they treat game developers, right? They are better than, Steam when it comes to their cut, their 20% cut. Wait, is it 20%? 12% cut or 18% cut, depending on whether or not they use Unreal Engine. It's very generous. I agree with that. My issue is when they pay other... What?
on the store it's 10%, and if they use Unreal it's free up to a certain point in terms of sales.
There we go. Yeah. My real concern, my real issue really is the way they pay for exclusivity, right? What they're effectively doing is they're threatening me. They're saying, if you cannot play this on any other platforms, you have to play with us, right? We will pay money to silence your choice, to destroy consumer choice, to stop you from buying this from any other market, right? I think that's unfair. Not to Steam or anything. I'm not arguing that Steam is a good marketplace, or I'm not arguing that Steam is whatever, but it's anti-consumer. That's unfair to me, right? Why should they be able to pay game developers to only sell for their show for a year, right? I understand, obviously, the temptation, especially by indie developers that do this. My real issue with this practice is that it's obviously anti-consumer, but it's also really strange to see AAA like Square Enix do the same thing for Final Fantasy VII. Whoever the developers are behind Hitman, they did the same thing. They accepted the deal for exclusivity. Just these giant companies accepting $1 million deals for exclusivity so that I, as the consumer, lose my ability to choose which store I get these games at, strikes me as being very dystopian, right? I would much prefer if Epic Games didn't do this, right? And I would be more willing to use their store if they didn't do this, right? But as long as they do that, I will not purchase a game on their store, because vote with your wallet, right? And I hate that practice, and so I'm not going to buy a game on their store. That's all there is to it, right? And for reference, I'm not against third-party stores. I have bought games from GOG, right? For example, I bought The Witcher 3 on GOG because obviously that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I buy things on GMG, like Green Man Gaming, right? Even though that activates on Steam, right? And okay, I'm sure Epic Game Store is not as bad as the fucking, what's that called? The Ubisoft launcher, Origin, right? And for reference,
yeah.
Wait, hang on, I gotta ask a question. Has Microsoft paid for exclusivity on their Xbox Marketplace on PC?
Maybe one game,
Can't remember,
but I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I don't think so either, which is why I support Xbox Game Store, right? Because I think Game Pass is a great deal. It's $10 a month. You can play whatever games. I don't really use it, mind you. I lose money on that for sure. But, because I like owning my games. But, I don't have an issue against third-party stores. It's just that Epic Games is legitimately anti-consumer, and they legitimately try to threaten the consumer by saying, if you want to play this game, you have to buy it at our store, or rather, buy it from our store, and we will literally pay money so that you cannot get it anywhere else. That strikes me as absurd, and that strikes me as malicious. And I don't like things that are malicious, especially my stores. That's all there is to it. Nothing too big, nothing too grand, nothing too eclipsing. Just me, my opinions. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
fucking mega corporations can stop accepting money from fucking Epic Games Store, right? If these giant corporations like fucking Square Enix could hire a developer to actually optimize their bloody games, right? Instead of accepting money from fucking Square Enix, they're still firing developers, right? They're still firing hundreds of developers after every development cycle, even though they accept millions of dollars from fucking Epic Games Store for exclusivity when they themselves are, what, at least a multi-million-dollar company? Maybe even a billion-dollar company? I don't know. Look, indie devs, I get it, right? But like, fucking AAA developers, you have no fucking right, and you have you are out of your mind, right? If you think that is at all justifiable, mega corporations can fucking go screw themselves, right? And you know what? It's anti-competitive as well, right? It's anti-competition. Epic Games Store is trying to fucking establish a fucking bloody monopoly where all the games are on Epic Games Store, and it's fucking horrifying. I understand that Steam by itself is sort of a monopoly, but at the very least, Steam isn't fucking hardline paying developers to only develop on Steam. That...
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. Don't buy from Epic Games Store. Unless, of course, Fortnite sponsors us, in which case that's different. That changes the...
Yeah.
I can be bought. You can buy me with money.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they'll buy this podcast as an exclusive for 1 year, and all the episodes are on Epic Games Store.
I'd be like Joe fucking Rogan, right? We'd be on fucking Epic Games Store only, or Spotify only. No, we won't.
Yeah. What do you think, Snow, about the Epic Games Store?
A friend of mine wanting to post his game over in Epic Games Store, but I said no, just go on Steam and just posted it. And he goes,
I mean, your friend can post on both.
Epic.
No, actually.
Yeah, but I said just
Wait,
do
what?
Steam first.
Wait, hang on. What?
Because otherwise, if you post on Epic Games Store, it's not gonna be on Steam first. I think there's like TOS on it as well. I can't remember if you first.
Wait, hang on. Are you telling me Epic is not
unless
only
you
paying developers to delay
unless
games
you're
on
a
Steam?
AAA
Right,
game,
they're also there's what?
Unless you're a AAA
That's
game
evil.
and then they make a rule for you, they're gonna give like, I don't know, some sort of like, oh, you can do it on Steam as well, you can do it in Ubisoft as well. Like, I think you can make an example out of.
But AAA games can do whatever they want, right? That's been established, right? Fucking Bethesda has their own stupid launch at this point. But you're saying indie developers, when you want to release a game, you don't take money from Epic, right? You just want to sell your game on that platform. They go, if you sell with us, you cannot sell on Steam at the same day. You have to delay your Steam release. That's the thing.
No.
Unless if it's free.
No. Here's the thing.
Free on it.
From back when I was like researching this, there was like a few developers, but one in particular, I forgot the name of the game, but it was like a really high quality top-down shmup or bullet hell. It's huge sales on Steam. They wanted to just release the game on Epic Games Store. They applied. They're like, Epic was like, no, we don't want your game on our store. That's literally it. So remember back when Steam had like their own curation team or whatever, same thing. They were just like denying, at the time at least, they were just denying like games to be put on the Epic Games Store without. Potentially the reason is without some exclusivity deal, but who knows. But yeah, they were denying a bunch of really good games to not be sold on their Epic Games Store. Another potential reason was some games that were launching, they wanted to launch on Steam and Epic Games Store, and at the time that wasn't a thing. It wasn't happening because I'm assuming Epic Games Store was denying these applications for games to be put on their store because they don't want people to compare Steam and Epic Games Store sales figures. I'm assuming that's like another potential reason.
It's bullshit.
But yeah,
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
That's bullshit. I agree. That's complete bullshit. That's absurd.
Yeah, and I'm assuming they still have the current curation team to allow games.
Obviously, okay. So I want to say this, right? I want to say this. Firstly, I want to preface this by saying, obviously, Epic and Steam own their own stores. They can allow whatever products they want in or out of the store, right? It's completely within their rights to do this, right? But it is incredibly shady, right? To be like, you have a product, we think it's
It is so
good
shady.
because you want to launch on Steam at the same time, we're saying no. Right? That seems shady to me.
There are games
Is it-
that
I know
are
one-
doing this
I
right
know
now.
the
It's
Epic
okay.
Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know the Epic Games staff gonna be like, oh, we're just gonna accept Square Enix and then this company. Okay, sure. Fucking indie
what is it?
indie solo developers, they can't like go abroad or whatever. But
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright, yeah, that's it. Don't buy from Epic. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
but no, yeah,
Fuck
it's.
Epic.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same opinion. Like I stand against Epic on this so much that regarding one of my like personal projects, I had a deal with a developer to only have like their game to do X on my platform, and like an exclusive deal. And when the Epic Game Store like thing happened, I'm like, no, fuck Epic Game Store, and fuck it so much, I'm gonna cancel my exclusivity deal. On a business side, and on a business sense, that's fucking stupid for me to do, but on a principle sense, I'm like strong on this. So, yeah,
I agree. It's
And,
about principles, right? It's about what's right, and Epic Game Store is what they're doing to the industry is horrible, right? Like Final Fantasy VII, right? People have to wait a year to play that game. Like Hitman, like
yeah.
a bunch of games, obviously. I don't know. It's shady.
But
No,
also,
you might
No,
argue,
no.
obviously, that sort of Epic would not be able to compete with Steam, right? If they didn't do this.
Yeah.
Might be true. I don't think that's true because all the Fortnite kids fucking have Epic installed. But whatever. But if that's true, then if it can't complete on an even playing field, then the business deserves to die. I'm sorry. That's just
Yeah.
how it is.
and here's the thing. I mean, I'm gonna make a video soon about like how can a Steam competitor emerge and like actually compete against Steam, etc., etc. But what
Just
this
to make your
shows,
system better than Steam.
what Epic did, what they've shown to users is, oh, you're so weak that you can't even fairly compete against Steam. and yeah, but on the flip side, in terms of like putting an argument on the table, like for those supporting it, on the perspective of the developers, aside from big corporations, that's it. Actually for big corporations as well, the first argument is indie developers want funding so that they can finish the game and survive and raise the game, and they'll be like, waiting a year is a sacrifice that I'm willing to take. Like, this is indie developer talking, and some people understand it. Okay, they're understanding about it, but a lot of people are like, no, screw you. I'll only get your game when your game releases on Steam. I'll either don't buy it even, or buy it when it's more than half off. The other argument is in terms of like the big publishers taking on this deal with Epic. Well, first off, like a guaranteed money income for the game. That's one benefit to like a big publisher, but that also shows that they're weak. The second point is they also want to push Steam to decrease their sales cut from 30% to lower, however much that may be. And Epic Games Store have it at 10%. So ideally, they want Steam to make a change where it would be 10%. And I'm assuming that's the other reason why big publishers are signing deals with Epic Games Store exclusivity. And yeah, that's the argument on that front. And for me, sure, it was basically in terms of big publishers and Epic Games Store, it was a war against Steam. On the indie developer front, sure, they might have thoughts on it, but it's just about survivability for indies, which it's either survival or standing on your principles if you initially had that principle as an indie game developer. And yeah, but apparently, as we can see right now, Epic lost horribly. Even with someone that was taking their free games every week from Epic Game Store, like if a user took all the games, they would have like thousands of games by now, 1,000+ games. I'd assume they are still playing on Steam. Like, I have a lot of fun games on Epic Game Store, but I'm 99.9% of my time it's me playing games on Steam, because I just as on the principal issue, but also on the launcher issue because their like client is garbage. And yeah, that's the whole thing.
It's like I think Rocket League mostly that I play with my friends back then. They play it on Epic Games. They invited me there, and I was like, Epic Games sucks. And then I think Rocket League transferred to, not transfer.
Rocket League is apparently exclusive to Epic Games now.
Steam.
No, Rocket League was on Steam, but it's no longer on Steam now. They're exclusive to Epic.
It was on Steam. Epic bought the studio.
I understand the practicalities of indie deving. Yeah, I understand the practicalities of
everything.
indie, right? And they are an indie. But I understand the practicalities of releasing only on Epic if you're an indie studio, right? That money might be make or break for your game.
Yeah.
And I have some understanding for it. I probably won't play your game, but I get it, right? But mega corporations have no fucking excuse. You rethink Square couldn't afford to fund a couple $1 million for a game development, right? If Rockstar can fund themselves $300 million of GTA 5, I'm sure Square Enix, the creator behind fucking Final Fantasy and also Final Fantasy 14, is very popular MMO as far as I know, could probably afford to pay devs, right? That's not.
No, but again, they did that because I'm
They just
assuming
want to pad their bottom line.
it's as like aside from the money, it's basically want to push Steam to lower the percent cut. But they didn't. But however, the story goes is they did decrease it, but not like a flat decrease. It's still 30% up to a certain amount of millions or like hundreds of thousands of dollars
Then it's
in
less.
terms of revenue.
Yeah,
Then they
yeah.
decrease it to I think 25, then a minimum of 20 at a certain point. So basically indies
I mean, hey,
not
I guess
included.
that's better. But like, look, Steam isn't the good guy either, right? Steam is taking a massive cut, and I firmly believe, given that fucking Valve doesn't make games anymore, they made Alex, but like, fucking, it's barely a game. I mean, okay, it's a good game, but it's like really short. It's VR game, whatever. What I mean is, Valve barely makes games anymore, right? They made one game in what, 10 years, whatever that is. Well, they made Artifact, which flopped, whatever. But like 2 games in 10 years, right? Valve probably has enough money to spare, right? Let's be honest. Valve is like the most valuable company per employee or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So I promise you they have enough money to spare. If Epic can afford it, I'm sure they could too. But, you know, Valve isn't the good guy here, but at the very least their client doesn't suck. They don't pay developers to be exclusive. So, fuck them. Also, this applies to consoles as well, by the way, right? Guys, it's fucking 2023. It's current year. There's no reason to release exclusively on consoles anyway, right?
Yeah.
PC players know the games will come out on PC eventually. And let's be honest, right? PC players aren't going to degrade ourselves by playing a game on console. Well, okay, that's not true, but certainly the majority of us will wait for the release on PC.
Yeah.
And also, console players that are actually hardcore console players won't buy a PC anyway, because, right, you know, why bother?
I mean,
It's a different crowd. Just release your games, guys. Fuck.
yeah. Okay.
Look, the only legitimate excuse for ever buying a console is to buy a Nintendo console, because their games genuinely don't come to PC, which is still a dick move. But at the very least, most of the games that don't come to PC are first-party Nintendo funded, right?
Well, no, wait. If you wait long enough, emulation.
It happened to PS Vita. There's some games from Japan that they only release on console. A lot of people hating it back then, and then I think 10 years later, they make a PC one, but they release it on Steam finally. And then people start playing.
10 years
after a
later. Oh,
decade.
very exciting. I definitely want to play a game from 10 years ago. Sorry.
Actually, I'm really excited to play a game that
like
finally got on
it's
Steam
like a remake version.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It was released on PS3, and now they released it on Steam. Like, yes, finally.
Look, I'm really. To be fair, I was really excited to play a game that was released more than 10 years ago at this point. They were remastered. They remade it. It was fantastic. It's called Dead Space Remake. You should buy it, right?
Yeah.
It's got gender-neutral toilets apparently, but you know you should buy it. It's a great game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, $70. That's for a remake. No, $50 max.